Hello, today we're replacing a motorcycle chain on a motorcycle. And to tell if you need a new chain, when you adjust your chain, it used to be like tight like this everywhere. But you can see it's loose here, it's hitting the swing arm. So if I keep spinning it, it's still hitting the swing arm. And right here, you see how it gets tight? So it has a tight spot now. That means your chain is worn out. I have about 30,000 miles on this bike, and my chain is original, and it's worn out. I can't adjust it no more because it's really tight here, and it's right here. It's really loose. And I'm just replacing the chain. Inspect your sprockets. Your sprockets are right here. Inspect the teeth. Make sure it's not pointy. If it's pointy, that means you need to get it replaced. But mines are still good. I checked mine, it's still good. And check your front sprocket. This is my front sprocket, and it still looks good. So I'm just gonna change the chain. If you have a manual, it shows you how it's supposed to be. So A is good teeth, B is worn out teeth, and C is damaged. So mines are still, they're still good. And I forgot to mention, the front sprocket has a cover here. And here's the cover. I already took mine out. It's really easy. On your bike it could be a little bit different, but it should be same. And this one is that speed sensor. It tells you what speed you're going. Also, I'm using a bike stand, just a rear bike stand, so I can have the bike off the ground, so I can just spin the wheel freely. You don't need a stand, but it's easier with the stand. So to take the chain out, they sell special tools to cut to remove one of those rivets. But since I'm throwing the chain away, I'm just gonna use a grinder with a cutting wheel and just cut it off. Just be careful not to hit nothing and damage nothing on your bike. Okay, you could just cut it here, but I'm going to show you another way where to cut it a little bit safer. I'm going to see if I can remove the chain from the sprocket and have the chain right here, and I could just cut it here. Because I'm a little bit scared cutting it here. I don't want to hit the plastic, the tire, or nothing. I don't want the grinder to slip. So remove your cotter pin. This is your cotter pin. Just unbend it and remove it. So remove your little cotter pin, and then you can straighten it out and you can reuse it later. And then mine's a 32, and remove this nut right here. You don't have to remove it, just loose. And then this will be your 12 millimeter. So you'll need two 12 millimeter wrench. So I have a 12 millimeter wrench, and you just loosen this nut right here. You loosen it, give you some room, and then you're going to be spinning this one. You're going to push this nut in so the wheel can move forward, so you're going to have a lot of slack with the chain, and you'll be able to remove the chain from the rear sprocket. This is the other side. You do the same thing. You loosen this nut right here. So you loosen it. You got to show some threads, and same thing. You're gonna be spinning this in. Once you get all the way in, you'll be able to take the chain off. And you see these notches right here, right here. This is your chain alignment. So this just aligns your tire, how straight your tire is gonna be. So it could be crooked or like this. I'll show you later in a video how to do this. Okay, I pushed this all the way in. You can see right here, this thing just spins. So I pushed it all the way in, and now it's free space. I did the same thing on the other side. So now you can just push your wheel forward. You can see how it moves forward. You push the wheel forward, and you can take the chain off the sprocket because you have a lot of slack. and you'll be able to just take the chain off the sprocket. So I have my chain off the sprocket now, and I took it off the front sprocket too. So it's off the front sprocket. The chain is right here. Yeah, the chain is right here, off the front sprocket. So now I can just grab a grinder and cut it right here where it's more safe without me worrying about hitting anything. So I'm about to cut the chain. Okay, the old chain is cut, so I don't have a chain no more on the sprockets, no more chain. And you can easily inspect your sprocket now. I want to clean this hole up too, so make sure you clean everything up. If you're using your sprockets, clean your old sprocket up, make sure it's all clean. Same thing to your front one, clean your front sprocket too. Make sure it's clean. And here's the old chain right here. This is my old chain. You see I cut it. My old chain, and this is the new chain. So now you're just gonna take your new chain and just put it right on the sprocket and guide it on. And then I'll show you later what to do. Okay, so I put the chain all the way around. And it's right here. Here's one end, and the other one's right here. So now you're gonna grab your link. My chain came with a link. So here's your link right here. And since this is an O-ring chain, it came with 4 O-rings. And it came with this lock thing. So now I'm gonna put this link together. I'll show you. Let me do it because I cannot do it with one hand. Okay, my chain came with oil. So put some oil right here. Since we're gonna be putting these O-rings on, you gotta put 2 O-rings inside first. So we're gonna put some oil and make sure you oil the O-rings. So like this, make sure you put the O-rings on and you oil it. Make sure they're oiled, nice and oiled. So you can see I slid the link in, and now I have this 2 things sticking out. Now put 2 O-rings on here, one here, one here, and make sure you oil it. And here are the other 2 O-rings right there. I guess they give you an extra one. Okay, so I got it oiled. I put the 2 O-rings on and I oiled it. Now you take a face plate. They give you this plate right here. It's gonna go over this, like this. Like that. So now, this is really important. You can either grab pliers and squeeze it with pliers gently and have it squeezed in so you can put the link on. Because you see, let me remove this. There's little notches right here. There's a notch right here to slide in the link, to slide in the lock in. So they have a special tool they'll make. They make a special tool, and here's that tool right here. This is the part number, right? Hold on, let me look it up. So this is a special tool. You could buy it, or you could do the plier trick and squeeze it with pliers. Basically, it just squeezes those O-rings so you can put the lock on, the master link lock. So it's like this. So I put the plate on, and you can see I can squeeze it with my hand. I can squeeze it, and it exposes that notch right there, so I can slide in that key. So I'm about to show it to you. I think I can do it with my hand, with squeezing it with my hand, and put that lock on. I'm about to try doing that. Also, this is really important. Make sure you put this part like this. Don't put it like this. So if I'm doing this in the bottom. So the chain spins this way. That's forward. That's how the wheel spins. So to go forward, the chain will go that way to go forward. So make sure the link goes like this. Make sure this is mounted like this. Really important. Okay, so Yep, I was able to squeeze it in by hand, and I was able to put this on. So once it's on and it's on the notch, you take I took my needle nose pliers. So I put them here, and one, and the other end right here, and I was able to push this on to the notches. So make sure it's on it's on inside the notch, so it won't slide out. So now the chain is on, and there we go, and it's on. And yeah, and it's, make sure it spins freely, and that's it. Now I'm going to show you how to tighten this chain and make it straight. Make sure your tire is straight, or make sure your chain is straight. Okay, so now I'm going to show you how to adjust this chain slack. You see how the chain is so loose now? So now we have too much slack, so the chain is too much. It used to be like tight, like this. So we're going to be spinning this bolt that way, so it could push this back. So it's going to be pushing it back. So you can see it's loose right now. So I'm going to be pushing it back. It's going to start tightening the chain to the right tension. So you got to spin this nut, this right here, the second one, and the other side too, same thing. So we're going to be spinning it, and this will start to get tight. Okay, so I usually just go by the notches, so you can see like this. I go by the notches, so make sure the other side is the same on the other side. As long as it's the same, your wheel should be straight. I never had an issue by going like this. And you can see my chain, the manual says 1.2 to 1.6 inches of slack. So from bottom here to the top, so an inch of movement, an inch and a half of movement. But I usually just do it so it won't hit the swing arm. As long as it doesn't hit the swing arm, it's perfect. So this chain is perfect right now. It has a perfect slack. Also, you can use this tool right here just to double check if your alignment is perfect. So you put it like this and check the other side. Make sure it's the same on the other side. And if it's the same, then you should be good with the wheel and the chain being straight. So straight spinning. And then you take, remember I said you need two 12mm wrench. So one will go here, one will go right here, and the other one will go right here. So you're gonna hold this one. So by the nut, you're gonna hold this one, and you tighten the left one. So you have to tighten this one back just to lock it in, so this thing won't move no more. Do the same thing on the other side. Okay, so once that's done, grab a screwdriver and put it between this chain and the sprocket, and then spin the wheel so you can lock it in. See, I got it locked in. So now the wheel will move forward. Make sure the wheel. This is just to make sure the wheel went forward. So now it's going to be hard slack right here. Now you can tighten the nut. So my manual says 94 foot-pounds. So I have it set to 94, and it clicked. So once that click, grab your cotter pin, and you can see it lined up perfectly with the hole. Put it back in, and bend this back. You can bend this way, and bend the other one back. Just bend it back. So now this is done. So that's it. You're actually done then. That's it. So yeah, make sure you remove the screwdriver, and now you can see my slack is perfect. So about 1 inch to 1.5 inches of slack. You can actually grab a ruler and measure your slack, but I usually just do it as long as it doesn't hit the swing arm. It's perfect. So that's it. Once you spin the wheel, it's perfect. And the link, let me show you that link. Right here. Here's that link. So make sure it's facing to make sure the closed end goes right. So when I spin it, this is forward, so this spins forward. It goes this way. Now the last thing is to lubricate the chain. And I'm just gonna use some chain wax, chain and cable lube. You can use any brand, I just have this brand. Just spray the whole chain to lubricate it. And when it's time to clean the chain, so every 400 miles, 300 miles, or when the chain looks really dirty, I usually just grab WD-40, spray the whole chain, grab a rag, and wipe the whole chain up. So this has been working perfect. And then just lubricate it again. And that's about it. Thank you for watching it. And just put your cover back on, your speed sensor, and you're practically done.